Jagrative, Jai Masters. People think that spirituality exists in a church or a synagogue or a temple, a mosque. Spirituality exists wherever you're willing to work on yourself. It's not that one thing is spiritual and something else is not. In fact, in general, where you find yourself in life is the most spiritual place you could possibly be. Otherwise you wouldn't have found yourself there. So we could take anything, any subject, and talk about it spiritually. So let's take one that, of course, is near and dear to all of your hearts. Relationships. Very rarely do we directly hit it straight on, but we get emails a lot. You can imagine how many emails we get. And a lot of them are about relationships. Instead of saying, Dear Mickey, they should have said, Dear Abby. So let's talk about, why are relationships spiritual? First of all, are they? Or is renunciation spiritual? No relationships, nothing, just stay away, go live in the mountains. That's not the most spiritual state. It may be for some enlightened yogi, they can go sit in a cave somewhere, but you wouldn't do very well. And the reason is because you still have stuff. People have stuff. That's why they say, I'm only human. That's not a true statement. You are not only human. It's in you. You live with one, but you are not human. You're the consciousness that is aware of that. But we'll get there. So why would a relationship be spiritual? Because you have needs. You have desires. You have hopes and dreams. They are not spiritual. Hopes, dreams, concepts, views, preferences, desires, likes, needs. These are not spiritual. These are what are keeping you from being spiritual. Nothing wrong with them. They are where you are. If you feel needs, what is a need? Let's start there. What is a need? It means that something is lacking. Don't make a need romantic. There's nothing wrong with needs, but don't make them romantic. A need means there's something lacking inside of me, and an attempt to compensate, make up for, satisfy, call it whatever you want, what is lacking inside of me. There is something that I have decided outside that will help with this. How's that for a definition of a need? How could it not be that? That's what it is, all right? I'm not whole. I feel lacking. Therefore, there is something outside, and it's always outside, generally. There is something outside that I have thought about, that if that happened and was there, I would feel more fulfilled. That can sound romantic, being more fulfilled, but from a yogic point of view, the question is, why are you lacking? Not what can you do to compensate for the lacking. Why are you lacking? Were you born that way? Is that just what we are, as lacking people? We're just lacking? Or is there a reason that we're experiencing lacking? Not what will overcome it, compensate for it, help us cope with it, but why is it there? Why do I feel lacking? That's the essence of spirituality. Not what do I do about it. Why do I feel it? What is wrong in here that I don't feel whole and complete within myself, and that there needs to be something outside? Most of the world doesn't want to hear talk like this. They want to go to a seminar that tells them how to get what they want, how to win friends and influence people, how to be attractive, and how to present yourself in a way that you get what you want. They even go further, how to meditate and positive thinking to attract to yourself what you want. These are all ways to compensate for the fact that you're not okay. Why else would you do that? People ask me, isn't there a law of attraction? Of course there's a law of attraction. What are you trying to attract to yourself, and why? Well, I'm trying to attract a relationship, trying to attract money, trying to attract respect, trying to attract whatever it is I'm trying to attract. Why? Not how can I do that? Yoga, spirituality is about, why do I feel the need for that? There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with feeling the need. It's real. There's nothing wrong with trying to figure out how you can take care of it, if that's the level you want to live. There is a higher level that says, why do I need this? Not what can I do to get it. Why do I need this? So let's go with relationships. which of course you're going to have relationships. No one's taking anything away. Yoga takes nothing away from you. It teaches you how to get the highest state of what you can have inside yourself. All right, why do I need a relationship? I don't feel loved. I don't feel respected. I don't feel secure. I think that if I had a really serious relationship and commitment, that I would feel safer. I would feel there's at least one person that I can rely on no matter what happens, because that's my man or that's my woman, okay? It's mine, and I can trust it. That sounds so romantic, but I'm sorry. I'm here to ask you, why don't you feel secure? Not what can you do to feel secure? Why don't you feel secure? Why don't you feel love? What do you mean you need another person to make you feel love? Love is something inside of you, isn't it? Where do you feel it? Inside. So I don't understand what's going on. That is the difference between a spiritual aspirant, someone who's seeking real spiritual growth, inner growth, and someone who's trying to just be okay, trying to compensate. Can relationships go awry? Can someone you trust not be so trustworthy? At least not the way you define trustworthy. What do you mean when you say, I trust the person? You trust that they'll do whatever they want? You'll never fail at that trust. That's wonderful. That's not what you mean by trust. You mean, I trust they'll do what I want. Right? I can trust you, can't I? Yes, of course you can. I'm going to follow my impulses and follow my needs and desires and instincts. And what else do you want? No. I want you to follow mine. I want you to do what I want. I want to define for you what it means for me to trust you, and then I want you to be that way, and I trust that you'll be that way. You married me. Give me a break. So that is the difference between working on yourself spiritually and attempting to avoid working on yourself spiritually. But don't you walk out of here thinking that relationships are not spiritual. By the time we're done, we're going to talk about spiritual relationships. Relationships are very, very spiritual. But if you're starting from a place that I'm messed up, I'm not okay, and I need something to compensate, I'm scared, I'm insecure, I feel lonely, I got problems. And this relationship is going to solve the problems. You want to bet? Why do 50% of all marriages in the United States end up in divorce? What's going on? The problem is you're dealing with a part of your being that is not okay. Here's the most unromantic thing in the world. I was not okay before I met you, and now I feel so much better. I feel wonderful. I had never been able to find love before, but now you brought it to me. That's not true. That's not what's happening. Let's talk about what's happening. You have love inside of you all the time. You have so much love inside of you that at any time you want, you just sit down, wave a hand in front of your heart, and go into blissful, wipe out the most love you ever felt in your whole life. That's who you are. You are love, period. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're blocked. If there's water flowing down a stream, but somehow it doesn't make it downstream, why? Because it's blocked. That's why you don't feel love. I'll do it very quickly. You don't feel love all the time, and I mean real love. I'm talking about real love, overwhelming, beautiful love pouring inside of you all the time. Why don't I feel that? Sometimes you feel it. If everything's exactly the way you like, you can see there's love in there, can't you? Well, why don't you feel it the rest of the time? The answer is because I'm blocked. What do you mean I'm blocked? You have blocked the flow of love. That's the problem. The problem is not that you haven't met Mr. or Miss Right. That is an attempt to compensate for the fact that I blocked my flow of love, and this person helps me get around that blockage. Okay, fine. So that's a starting position. You are a being of love. You're a being of complete light. You have love flowing inside of you all the time, as much as you want. You have no need for it, period. Doesn't mean you can't express it. Doesn't mean you can't have a relationship. There's a nice relationship. I am so filled with love. You want some? Well, what if I leave you? I told you, I was so filled with love. It's not going to affect whether I'm feeling love. Love is inside of me. What if you had that much love? Then nothing could take it away from you. Would you like that? That's something worth achieving, isn't it? That you have found the flow of love inside of you, and nothing can ever take it away from you except you. How? By blocking it. Well, I thought he blocked it, or she blocked it, or they blocked it, or mommy blocked it, or someone blocked it. No, you're the only one in there. This is your kingdom. Anybody else in there? Tell me right now. Your mother in there? Your father in there? Your first husband, second, third, fourth? Right? They're not in there. Therefore, if you're blocked, you blocked yourself. You have to own it. If you want to really take on spiritual growth and achieve something really beautiful out of yourself, with yourself, you start by saying, I'm in here. There is love in here. I felt it. I felt it from time to time. If you will watch when you don't feel it, you will learn so much. This is what it means to pay attention, to be mindful. Here, somebody comes, you feel tremendous love, they speak so nicely to you, and they just tell you, oh, I can't wait to see you again. You're my soulmate. I swear I've never felt so much immediate love at first sight with anybody, right? And how you doing? Wow. And you just feel so much love. And then the person walks away and talks to somebody else. And you hear them. I've never felt... They're saying the same thing. How do you feel now? Bam! How long would it take if that happened before that love stopped flowing? 1/1000th of a second. Are you willing to talk with me? Are you willing to listen? What is that telling you? You did that. You opened because this person said things you wanted to hear, and you closed because that person didn't behave the way you expected them to. That person didn't do that. You did that. You opened and you closed. Have I got you, or you do understand? That person can't get in there and close your heart. That person, they're out there. You're doing this. And that's what a blockage is. That's how you've blocked yourself over the course of your life. Is things have happened in your life that were not comfortable to you. And you didn't know how to deal with them. Certainly as a child, it's understandable. How would you know how to deal with them? No one you deal with knows how to deal with them. Your parents don't know how to deal with them. No one has to deal with this stuff. They never learned. So basically, you didn't learn how to deal. And therefore, things happen, and they were not comfortable. What do you do when something's not comfortable and comes inside of you, and your whole inside starts to feel disturbed? What do? You push it away. You protect yourself. Just the same as if someone came at you. You push them away. This comes in. It's not comfortable. I don't want to feel this. I don't like what you did. I don't like what you said. I don't like that you told somebody else what you told me. I don't like that at all. And it comes in, it feels uncomfortable, and you suppress it, or repress it, or resist it, call it whatever you want. Freud had suppression and repression. Yoga says, let's start with resistance. Do you ever resist anything you're feeling inside? Do you have hands in there that can push things around? It's called will. You were given will, and that's what you did with it. Stuff comes in, you protect yourself. You push it away. Where do you think it goes when you push it away? Do you know where it goes? And the answer is no, you don't know, but you should know, because it does not dissipate. Well, who taught you that? Freud? Let's start with him. What did he figure out? When things come in that you can't handle and you push them away, they stay there for the rest of your life. Did he teach that? Is it true? Is all of psychology based on the fact that everything you pushed away is still in there until you work it through? The answer is yes. That's what blocks your heart. If you push it away, it creates a calcification, if you will. It doesn't know where to go. What doesn't? This bad energy, this yicky energy. It's real energy, isn't it? You feel it. It makes your heart hurt, makes your mind talk a mile a minute. It's stuff, isn't it? It's pollution. How do you like that? It gets polluted in there. What do? You push it away. Why? Because I can't deal with it. I can't handle what he said. I can't handle what you did. Can we take that apart for a moment? What does it mean when you say, I can't handle what you did? Well, if you can't handle it, what happens? You said you can't handle it. I guess you meant it. I can't handle it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to deny it. I'm going to suppress it. I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to do something because I can't handle it. That means you're going to store it inside of you, and that's the truth. And that's what you're going to find out when you start following these teachings. Every single thing that ever happened to you in your entire life, 1 minute ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, doesn't matter. If you resisted it, it's going to come back up. It will come back up in your dreams. It'll come up while you're driving down the street. It'll come up when somebody's wearing a shirt that reminded you of what he was wearing when you had an argument. Have you noticed? That stuff comes back up. Why? It's not happening. You got divorced 20 years ago. Why, when you hear the guy's name or somebody has a haircut like he did, all of a sudden all this stuff comes up inside, doesn't it? Because you didn't let it go. You stored it in there by resisting it. That's the most important thing as a starting place that you will learn about, one, your life and spirituality, because they're the same thing. So if you push this stuff away because you can't handle it, You better be ready to live with it. My thought, just because I try to be a rational thinking person, is if you don't like something and it's over, what do you mean? You got divorced 20 years ago. So my rational mind, I'm very left brain, my rational mind says, if it's not happening anymore, it shouldn't be bothering me. I got enough trouble with things that are happening. Why do I have to be bothered by things that aren't even happening? Doesn't make any sense. But it does, doesn't it? Because you couldn't handle it properly, you pushed it away. And because you pushed it away, it got stored. It stayed in there. I mean, like memory? No, it's not like memory. I make a big deal of that in a new book, Living Untethered. We're not talking about memory. Memory is a natural function of your mind. You don't have to do anything to make memory happen. Just you hear somebody's name, next time they show up, usually, the name comes back up. Memory is a natural function of the mind. You remember lots of things, don't you? But they don't bother you. They don't come back and haunt you. They don't come back, get you all upset, you start getting weird and emotional because you saw a tree or something like that. You want to know why they don't bother you? Because you handled them. You handled the white lines on the road. You handled the trees you drove by. You handled the cars that were going by. You handled that there are people that you don't know. You handle so many things, it's ridiculous, don't you? Clouds in the sky, weather, usually, hopefully. You can handle weather, right? And it just does lots of things. And you can remember, did it rain yesterday? Yes. Did it rain yesterday? Oh my God, yes. Oh, I can't believe it. I don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. I couldn't handle it. Why? It was my birthday. I don't like it to rain on my birthday. And you can be like, that? Yeah, I've always been like that since I was little. It's like if you can't handle the situation, you're going to store it. And like I said, rationally, one, it's not happening anymore, so that doesn't make sense. And two, how did you decide that it's rational to store what you don't like? Like what happens if you go to a restaurant and you eat some food and it's not good? It's just like it just didn't settle good for you, something wrong with it. You didn't die or anything, all right, but it was not comfortable. I know what you do. You ask for a doggy bag. You take it home. You put it in this room called bad food, right? And every morning you go in, taste a little bit of it. Well, I don't want to forget how sick that made me. You'll do that? No. Then why do you do it with emotions? Why do you do it with thoughts? Why do you do it with events that happen? They're over, fine. Somebody didn't treat you nice. Somebody didn't say something nice. Somebody dished you. And then basically you couldn't handle it. And so you pushed it down there. I don't want to call that memory. In yoga we call those samskaras. Patterns of energy that didn't make it through you. They're charged. They're still charged with the negativity or the effect they had on you. When they come back up, you get scared. You get insecure again. You get all weird. You did that. You have to own that. Nobody else is in there. You're the only one doing it. They're your hands in there. Yeah, but it was terrible. I know. I agree. I'll argue with you. It was terrible. Terrible. And if it's terrible, why do you want to store it? People have all kinds of hobbies. They collect stamps. They collect coins. They collect all kinds of things. You came up with a great idea for a hobby. Let's collect bad experiences. We'll make a collection of them and then visit it all the time and look at your collection. Right? Look what he did. Look what she did. And now if I ask you why you don't feel love all the time, don't you dare look at me as if you don't understand. You blocked the flow of love with all this garbage that you stored inside of you. And the energy that would be love, we call it Shakti, spiritual energy, that would naturally flow up inside, hits that stuff. And that's what causes all these weird emotions. It's energy hitting your blockages. And so as long as you have these blockages inside, you're not going to feel natural, unconditional love. Unconditional means it's not dependent on anything. It's just there all the time. Your breathing is pretty unconditional. Your heartbeat is pretty unconditional. I mean, you say, some people it's not. Yeah, but 99.9999, how's this? Ready? 99.999999% of the heartbeats that are going on right now are fine. There's a lot of heartbeats going on right now in 7.5 billion people. They're fine. Nobody's doing anything about them. Not going to the doctor. They got a cardiologist. And yours is one of those 99, I hope, one of those 99.999. And your breath, your heartbeat, your immune system. I mean, it's just like there's so much just going on. It's just fine. You don't make a mess out of that. But there are things that you can't handle. There are things that happen that you think you need to control, and I need to make sure it doesn't happen again. And because I'm trying to make sure it doesn't happen again, I remember it for the rest of my life, and it bothers me. That's why you don't feel love. This flow of energy that is your rush of holy waters. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. These are teachings. They're true. There's beautiful energy inside of you. There's beautiful love. In fact, Rumi, you know who Rumi is? Very great 14th century poet, Persian poet. Very, very beautiful, very well respected. And he wrote as follows: "It is not for you to seek love. It is for you to seek and find the obstacles you have put in her place." That's the truth. It's always there, but you blocked it with all this stuff. So what do I do about that? Shouldn't I go out and try to find that which opens me, that happens to open me? How many times have you been attracted to somebody or had some job or some situation that seemed like it was going to be perfect and it didn't turn out to be that way? Anybody want to answer? Why? Because you got lots of stuff in there. Just the particular first meeting or first job or first day or whatever it is can work out. But then you have other stuff in there. And somebody says something or does something, or you get married, and all of a sudden you have financial problems together. Now the problems are together. It's no longer this person's distracting from my problems. This person's solution. Oh my God, I can't wait to see him, right? I'm having a relationship. Oh boy, right? No, now you're sitting at the dining room table freaking out about the finances and having problems with each other. And the next thing, you go away with your friends and you're fine. You come home and there he is again, or there she is again. And it reminds you of your problems because they're saying, hey, we got to work this out. Where'd you go? Did you spend money? Right? And all this stuff comes on, right? So how do you deal with this? Eventually, not now, don't worry about it now, but eventually you will catch on. If I want to feel love, it is not about finding somebody that will make me feel love. You know what that is? That's like saying, I'm going to find somebody who distracts me enough so I don't have to feel myself. They're exciting, and they're so nice to me. Oh my God, I've never been treated so nice. In other words, they distract me from these blockages that I have stored inside of me, and now I just feel free, I feel open, I feel wonderful. That's what's happening. There's something that is helping me avoid myself. And so if it works, fine, but it's not going to keep working. Not only do you have problems, but he or she has problems. You've been around the block. I don't need to teach you this. So what's the alternative? The alternative is at one point in your life. I'm not telling you not to do this, not to have relationships. You do what you need to do. But at some point, you work at a deeper level. And they can happen simultaneously, by the way. You can be trying to get somebody to like you and try to dress a certain way and act a certain way so that they talk nicely to you. You know, it's hard. You got to work on it, don't you? Right? Make sure you keep them, all right? Inside, though, you can do this. And this is all I ask of you. I have stuff inside of me. My past relationships, the parents, the jobs, things, kids in school, high school. Usually high school leaves a lot of stuff, right? So I got stuff in here. I want to get it out. I don't only want to try to get distracted from it. I want to get it out. I don't want to have this stuff in me. I want to work toward having a flow of love that is natural and unconditional inside of me. Then I can share it with somebody. I love to share love. Love loves to express itself. Nobody's saying there are not relationships. They're asking you to wake up and realize that if your relationship is based on need, it's based on your blockages. And basically somebody has to somehow distract you from your blockages or compensate for your blockages. And not only does it not always last, people can stay in a relationship for a long time. It doesn't mean they feel love. People talk about that. They say, oh, that's just puppy love. No, it's not. No, that's the honeymoon stage. You feel love for somebody, you're attracted. Don't worry, it doesn't last. You just become friends. Nah, don't settle for that. You can do that. I'm telling you, you're going to do both at the same time. Just understand, you can be passionately, wildly in love all the time. But it better be with anybody or nobody. It's just your state. You're a passionate, loving being, and you share it. You don't need something to make your love flow. But then it means you need to clean out these blockages. And that's what it comes down to. And that's why relationships are spiritual. How you like that? In other words, it's not like, oh, well, I'm in a relationship and it's not spiritual. You decide whether it's spiritual or not. If you're sitting there saying, I used to feel love and now I don't feel so much love, can't we go back to where we had our honeymoon, and why don't you dress the way you used to? You're trying to create a situation outside that will compensate and overcome your blockages. Well, another way to do it would be to get rid of your blockages. Really? I can do that? Yes, you can do that. They're your blockages. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to run around having this stuff blocking your energy flow. And the truth of the matter is, the more you get rid of your blockages, the more love you're going to feel. But not just love. Joy, happiness, spontaneous well-being all the time, from the moment you wake up in the morning, all through the day, no matter what happens. Whatever happens, it's fun. It's just exciting. I've told you before, you're sitting on a little planet spinning in the middle of nowhere. Who's sitting on a little planet spinning in the middle of nowhere? I am. me. Right? How little is the planet? I'm sorry, I have to do it. I can't help myself. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. That's how little dinky this thing is that you're sitting on, spinning around the middle of space. And that's all around this one star. He gave it a name. He called it the sun. It's a star. One star. 1.3 million Earths fit inside that star. Well, are there any other stars? How about 300 billion in your galaxy? Your star sits in a galaxy out in the outer arm, I think they said. And there's 300 billion of those things. And you can't handle sitting on a planet spinning through space? You have to put all this junk inside yourself and get all upset and have anxiety and needs and fears and insecurities and all this kind of stuff. You can't talk to somebody. 7.5 billion people on the planet Earth. You can't talk to one without getting nervous about what you said. And did you say anything wrong? And do they not like you? Are they judging you? Well, that is not healthy. To sit on a little planet in the middle of nowhere, and guess what? You're not staying. I don't want to be the one to break the news. Somebody told you there's no Santa, and here he comes sitting there telling me, you're not staying. You're not staying. You've been here for a few years, only a few. 80, 90, big deal. The Earth has been here for 4.5 billion years, and you'll be here for 80 or 90. And what are you doing with your journey? Freaking out. Being anxious, being uptight, being nervous, worrying about what? Everything. Well, something to me says that's not logical. 300 billion suns, and you're this tiny little thing spinning on one, and you can't handle anything? So it's called waking up. You just wake up and you say, well, I don't have to live like that. Just because everybody else is. I don't have to live like that. And so you look to see, why am I not having a good time? When? Always. Why am I not having a good time? Why don't I wake up in the morning and be excited about what's going to happen? Because who knows what's going to happen? You don't know. It's happening everywhere, right? And so something will happen, don't worry. It's not Mars. It's not like you just sit there and watch the sand blow. It's like there's an exciting thing happens in your life every single day, every single second. There's something going on, isn't there? Well, have fun. I can't. Why? Because it's not what I want. Or it's what I don't want. Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I got too many wants and too many not wants. Maybe if you didn't have all those wants and not wants, you could enjoy your life. Doesn't mean you don't go to work and work hard. Doesn't mean you don't have a family. Doesn't mean anything. It means you enjoy what you're doing. Not I have to think about what job should I have. I might be happier. And you just basically start noticing, I'm doing this. I'm storing this stuff inside of me that's making me upset. And that's making me... You know why you have preferences? Because you store stuff inside that blocks your energy flow. And because you blocked it, you look at this and you say, what can happen outside that makes me feel better about myself inside? That even though I stored all this stuff inside, how can I feel better? Am I going on vacation? I could marry this person. I could get divorced and marry another person. I could do... Just comes with all kinds of stuff. What could happen that would make me feel better? I told you, yoga doesn't ask that. Yoga sits there and says, why don't I feel good? Why am I not enjoying everything? Why is this life not the most wonderful thing that ever happened every single second? Because it is. Do not compare yourself to other people or the movies or 3 days ago. Compare yourself to Mars. Just go hang out on Mars and see how long you do well, because you're not going to do very well. You'll wish you were back on. I told you, and it's the truth. If you were sitting on Mars for a few years and a roach ran by, you'd make friends with it. There's nothing going on Mars or any other place we ever looked at. And you have all this going on. What's wrong? That's how you deal with yourself. And you get real. And you say, all right, fine. I'm still going to do my outside stuff. I'm not ready to drop everything. But I will start working on myself. At least I'll start working on myself while I'm outside. And you start catching up. Let's say you start a relationship. and you have need, and it starts to satisfy, and you feel some love you didn't feel before. Fine, wonderful, right? Now, there's going to be a moment, I guarantee you, that it's not all honeymoon-like, that someone's going to say something or do something or, just find out what they told you wasn't true, or, they didn't really grow up where they said they did, and something's going to happen that disappoints you. And you remember this talk, and you sit there and say, I need to let go of that part of me. Why? I want to be happy. I want to feel love. I can handle it. I can handle that somebody didn't really feel right, so they told me something that wasn't exactly right. And it's not even a matter of forgiving them. You have to forgive if you're going to let it go inside yourself. But once you've done that, catch on. It's about you. It's not about them. It's not about forgiving them. It's about you understanding that you have stuff stored inside of you, and what they did hit that stuff. And you need to let go. And what if you're in the relationship, and that's what you're doing? I would love to see you do that, especially you young ones. And just catch on. If I want to feel love, I need to let go of what's making me not feel love. Not, okay, we'll find somebody new, throw that one out. Because there's always going to be something. Why? Nothing is going to match your stuff, right? You can't even handle your stuff. How do you expect someone else that doesn't even know what you went through and doesn't even understand your stuff, you don't even know what it is going to somehow magically, poof, fairy godmother, your stuff's gone. Why? I'm here. A knight in armor. Don't worry. I've taken care of everything for now. Not a chance. You have to be willing to sit there and say, there is stuff inside of me. Things are going to happen that hit it. That's an opportunity to let it go. That's the bottom line. That's an opportunity to let it go. As I told you, relationships are spiritual if you use them properly. They are not just ways to avoid yourself. They are ways to face yourself. There are ways to sit there and say, do you like love? I'm asking you a question. Do you like love? Do you like feeling tremendous love welling up inside of you? Just you're drunk with love. Do you like that? Then don't give it up. That's one way to do it. If you sit there and feel love, wonderful. I want you to feel love. It's wonderful. Now look and see how quick you are to give it up. How quick you are to say, oh, he or she wasn't what I thought they were. I don't like what they did. I don't know. And you sit there and say, I don't want to give up the love. I don't want to give up the love. Wow, that just blows my mind. You don't have to give it up. But it went away. Of course it went away. You let your blockages come up and stop the flow of energy. You will reach a point someday, not just with love, but with your job and with everything, to where you say, no, I like this flow of energy. It's mine. I like waking up in the morning. What did Christ say? Lest ye be as little children. I like waking up in the morning and being like a little kid on Christmas. You're free. You're innocent. You're filled with joy and filled with love. Well, why aren't I? You'll see why. Take a look. Because you have all this stuff blocked in there. You have all these conditions that have to be exactly the way you want them to be for you to be loved. Why? I'm not going to put conditions on it. I'm not. I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, it's Christmas morning. I better get the fire truck that's red in the front but blue in the back. What are you, crazy? The more conditions you have, the less probability is you're going to have fun for Christmas morning. It's the same thing with relationships. It's the same thing with jobs. It's the same thing with everything. If you sit there and define what I need in order to make me be happy, you've just basically looked at your blockages and said, I'm blocked. What can happen that will help me not get caught in my blockages? That will help my blockages not get hit, help me get around them, help be distracted. Can you get distracted from your blockages? Of course you can. There's all kinds of stuff people do just to get distracted. So I had a great night. What happened? Oh, we did this and did that and moshed in the mosh pit. And then we went skydiving and the parachutes, they dared me. I took a parachute. It said 50-50 on the parachute. So it's like, it can get very exciting if you want, all right? So what you're doing is distracting yourself from your blockages. And eventually you catch on and say, no. What my life is about is interacting with life. Absolutely, you interact with life the best you can, but in the meantime, I'm letting the stuff go. I'm letting go of what is blocked inside of me. So then, teacher, how do I know what's blocked inside of me? That's the biggest joke I ever heard of. It will be in your face. You wish you didn't know. Things are going to happen. They're going to hit your stuff. Your heart is going to hurt, and your mind's going to go a mile a minute. And you're going to decide to leave people and turn on things and not like it and get all upset, aren't you? It's a daily process. There's always something bothering you. So you wake up and you say, good. Here's how a yogi lives their life, a spiritual person. Good. If I have stuff in here, come and get it. I don't want to keep this in here. It's interfering with my ability to enjoy my life. It's interfering with my love. It's interfering with my excitement and passion and freedom and everything. It's interfering with me. I don't want to serve that thing. It's the problem, not the solution. And so you start letting go. It's called letting go. What does that mean? It's doable. You're all capable of doing it. In the new book, I'm very gentle. It starts off with what's called low-hanging fruit. Things that you are bothering yourself about, that if you weren't bothering yourself about them, they would be fine. There, that's low-hanging fruit. It's not that there's something really happening out there you need to deal with. It's just you decided to bother yourself about it. I don't like the way the driver in front of you is driving. Much too slow. What are you doing? They're going to turn in 2 blocks anyways, or you will. You're sitting there creating a problem inside yourself that only exists because you're doing it. That's why I define low-hanging fruit. If you weren't bothering yourself about it, it wouldn't be a problem. Do you ever do things like that? Bother yourself about things? It's raining. It's raining. If I have to rain, it's my day off. You want to know why it had to rain? Go study meteorology. I'll tell you right now, you study that book, it's not going to be one page about your birthday or your wedding. There's not going to be a single thing about that. That's why it rained. Okay? I don't want all this karma stuff and bad energy. It rained. The question is, can you handle that it rained? And either the answer is yes, I can handle that it rained, therefore it didn't bother me, or no, I can't handle that it rained, therefore it bothered me. That's low-hanging fruit. Do you see the definition? So I don't want to take much away from you. What if I sat there and said, let's just not do that? Let's just not bother ourselves about things that mean nothing. They don't help you by bothering you, and you're just bothering yourself. And because I'm telling you, that affects your love. That affects your ability to feel love. You know, let's say you have a wonderful relationship at home, and the person in front of you is freaking you out the way they're driving. I guarantee you, when you walk in that door, I don't want to be with you. There could be a whole lot of love going on, just a lot of complaints, a lot of bad energy. But you did that. Will you own that? The driver in front of you can't make your love go away. Only you can. The rain can't make your love go away. The rain can't ruin your day. Only you can do that. How about we decide not to do it? That's your first step. By the way, I once gave a talk that when we talk about relationship, you always think, 2 people. You have a relationship with life. You interact with her every day. You have a relationship with the events that are unfolding in life, don't you? Well, how about perfect that relationship? Do well with it. So you start with the low-hanging fruit. How? How do you handle it? How do you do that? You don't fight. Never fight with yourself. That just causes more trouble. So now if something happens, the rain, the driver in front of you, the light changed red when you didn't want it to, very traumatic stuff. The line in the grocery store is longer than you want to wait. The self-checkout machines are broken. Well, they haven't had there's just so many fun things that you bother yourself about. All right? So you sit there and you catch yourself. It's called mindfulness. You catch yourself and you say, oh, this is what Mickey was talking about. That's why I give these talks, so that you can have those moments of clarity. Here I am. There's no other line in the grocery store. This is the line. And I'm going to stand in the line. I got to check out. I don't want to go put everything back. So you're just being rational with yourself. It's like a kid who's throwing a tantrum, right? This is it, kid. I'm going to stand in this line, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to enjoy standing in this line. Why? Because it's much more fun to enjoy standing in the line than to not enjoy standing in the line. Right or wrong? I have the right to enjoy it. Just because I have a habit, and it's not just a habit, because you stored all this negative energy inside of you, it looks for every opportunity it can to release. That is what's happening. That's why you complain so much. That's why everything bothers you. You stored everything that ever bothered you before. How are you not going to be bothered? And then each event, the tiniest event, the rain, the this, the that, whatever, the noise, it's hilarious. You find excuses to be bothered. Why? Because you are already bothered. And this is just an opportunity to release some of the energy of bothered. So instead, you work with yourself. It's called raising yourself. You stand in that line at the grocery store, and you look at that part of you that's going, and you say, wait a minute, this is my life. This is my life. That's what life is, these moments that I'm experiencing. And I'm ruining them. It cannot ruin your life to stand in line. You can have fun standing in line. And you just look at it and you say, I can enjoy this. How? First start with letting go of the negativity. What does that mean? There is negativity coming up. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny it. It feels yucky. Relax. What do you mean? How can I relax? It won't relax. It won't relax, but you can relax. You who's experiencing the disturbance are not the disturbance. You're the experiencer of the disturbance. I'm having disturbance. Who is? I am. Let it go. Relax. I swear to God, it works. Relax and release. Just relax around it. Welcome it up. Have fun with it. I wish you'd make it a video game. That's what that stuff is inside of you. It's like the ultimate video game. Play with it. Play with it. Talk to it. Come on up. Come on. I used to tell my heart, when my heart used to have some trouble, I said, come on, you can do better than that. Hit me with your best shot. The stuff you don't want it in there. All I can tell you is you start working with yourself to where it's fun. What's fun? Letting go of the stuff that's causing all the trouble is a fun experience. Play, make it fun, enjoy it. I don't care what you need to do. You're in there, figure it out. Just don't push it back down. That's what you do. And don't express it as negativity. And just stand there in that line, you're being negative. You're expressing negativity. Or being caught in traffic. It's not going to help. You're in traffic. You can't go anywhere. Enjoy it. I dare you. And your mind says, how can I enjoy this? How can you not enjoy it? You're sitting on a planet in the middle of nowhere and there's cars. Wow. 1.3 billion Earths inside the sun, and there's these cars on this stupid little planet like toys. And the sun is just one of 300 billion stars. I didn't even get finished. That's 300 billion in your galaxy. There's 2 trillion galaxies. You know, the James Webb Telescope, let us take a view. Don't just look at it and say, whoa. It's just like, oh my God, I'm making a mess out of being on this planet. Stop it. Have fun. You're going to find, you know what's going to happen? You'll change your life. People write me all the time. You changed my, I didn't change your life. You just caught on that you are there screwing your life up. You're ruining your relationships. How? By deciding you don't like what somebody did. If you love somebody, then love them. That's not what they do. And it may be that something happens bad enough that it's time to leave. Fine. But in general, things happen that are not bad enough to leave. They're just little things. Somebody didn't behave the way, somebody had a bad day at work, so they came in, they didn't even say hello. They just went right into their room. Okay? Enjoy it. I like being alone. I like being alone. I like having prepared dinners, and I can eat it all myself. I get more food. I swear to God, I would love to see you be insane. Here, let's say that happens, okay? Instead of getting upset, here's this romantic dinner you made, right? There's candlelight, and there's 2 places set, and there's music. If he or she goes marching in the room and slams the door, it's not you didn't do anything, they had a bad day at work, all right? Then you sit there, and this is what you do. You sit down in one seat, all right? You eat a little bit, then go into the other seat. And eat a little bit, and then talk to the person that was in that seat, and then in other words, have fun. Who said you couldn't do that? Who said you couldn't have fun with every moment of your life? And what you're going to see is, I did. I said I couldn't have fun. And while I'm sitting there having fun, something inside of me called the party pooper saying, what are you doing? You look stupid. You should be so mad at that. Then you let go of that. You just keep raising yourself. Raise yourself. You can do this. What's stopping you? Only you. And what will happen is then you'll do that and have fun, and then whoever it was, a significant other, walks out of the room having quieted down, washed up, whatever it is, took a shower, meditated, maybe, who knows what they do, and they come out and you feel love. How would you like to be in a relationship like that, where somebody treated you with that much love, that it didn't matter what you did, I love you, and that love's not going to go away. And I know you didn't purposely try to make it go. If they purposely try to hurt you, that's a different story. Okay? We're not going to talk about that. All right? I'm just talking about you're hurting you because you can't handle normal everyday situations. All right. Believe it or not, I talked about relationships tonight. But the main talk is about your relationship with yourself. There's no relationship that's more important than your relationship with yourself. You live with yourself. You live with yourself every single minute of every day. You've done it your whole life, and you haven't done so well. You're not done so well with a relationship, have you? You suppress stuff. You're down on yourself. You just got all this stuff. Clean it up, and you're going to find out that everything becomes spiritual. Your relationships are spiritual if you use them spiritually. How? Things happen. Believe me, in a relationship, things hit your stuff. Because you're open. It's much more sensitive, much more open. So things are going to get more sensitive. Let it go. I swear to you, just let it go. Wait till you see what happens. Let it go. all of a sudden more beauty and love comes into your life and their life. Some people write me, well, what if they're not letting go? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All the better. Then they can hit more of your stuff. You just keep letting go. You keep letting go. You let go and you interact. Beautiful, right? It may change them. It may not. The relationship may fall apart because you don't fit real well anymore. But usually what will happen is because you change, they will change. And you'll see all kind of a different dynamic going on. So that's how you get love. That's how you get love. Not by finding it. You find it inside yourself by letting go of the blockages that are blocking it. Again, I'll repeat what Rumi said. It is not for you to seek love. It is but for you to seek, find, and remove the obstacles you have put into place. It is always in there. You're a being of great love, but it's blocked. Remove the blockages, and that's why you're in relationships. To learn how to sit there and say, if I say I love you, that doesn't mean I love that you'll be exactly the way I want you to be. It means I'm going to let go of me so that I'm able to keep loving you. There's a relationship, isn't it? And you get two people doing that? Whoa. That's the holy grail, that both people are in there working with themselves and letting go as much as possible. All right. Very good. Jagrudev.